What's going on, everybody? Today we're doing a mock draft. It's Sunday night. We're getting into it on Thursday. I'm here with Dylan today. He's a big NFL draft guy. Looks into it like year in advance. Like it's a
It's
big.
factual statement.
We're gonna we're gonna switch off each pick. I'll take the odd picks. Trades are allowed. Um, it's actually been some crazy stuff leading up to this. Like I don't know, man. There's been some.
Yeah. I mean, this draft, this is one of the more unpredictable drafts I've seen in the last few years. I mean, it feels like any pick could be a completely random player that I did not expect, and
Yeah.
I would not be surprised because this year has just been crazy. A
Uh huh.
lot of rumors floating around.
Yeah, I mean the Will Levis rumors, all of that stuff. But
Yeah.
I'll start it off. I am just gonna take Bryce Young to the Panthers. I think that's the safe option. I think and it's kind of a mix of what you would do and what you think they're gonna do. But I think that falls in both categories. I think if I were the Panthers, I'd take Bryce Young, and I think they're gonna take Bryce Young.
I completely agree. Yeah, originally when the Panthers traded up, it was a lot of CJ Stroud is their guy, but as of recently, Young is now the odds-on favorite to go number one, and it's almost certain that he's going to go number one at this point. Young is
Yeah.
definitely the safer pick in terms of that he'll be good right away, but also more of a concern with his durability issues and his size.
Yeah, but you see like guys like Russell Wilson like really have no issues with that,
hmm Definitely.
and
Yeah, Young
he
is my
obviously
QB1 in this
yeah,
draft.
me too,
So
and he obviously has all the tools to be a
yeah,
successful quarterback in the league.
definitely. So at number two, we have the Texans. Now, we said about the realism to what I would do type thing, and right here, I think I'm gonna lean into the realism stuff and the rumors that have been floating around. And some of the rumors, I personally wouldn't take Will Levis this high. I don't have him as nearly as high graded as the number two overall pick. So, according to the rumors, Stroud is not their guy. Richardson is not their guy. So, I'm just going to go ahead and take the top defensive player on the board, which is Will
Yeah,
Anderson.
right, and might not necessarily be the best defensive player in the draft. Obviously, Jalen Carter's up there, but we don't know about the type of person Jalen Carter is, like those issues.
Yeah, we'll get into that when we pick him, but that's definitely been a
Right.
concern this pre-draft process.
Yeah, and now at 3, I see this as a situation where since Will Levis sorry, since Will Anderson went 2, I feel like that was Arizona's guy. So I feel like this is a trade down spot, and I think they don't. I think I see Indy trading up one spot to get their quarterback. I don't know if you could see that, and
I I, I agree.
I think they could just throw in like a fourth rounder or something
Yeah.
like that. So trade down one spot,
Um. Yeah.
and
So
I
yeah,
think
the trade details won't matter much here. We're just trying to get it to go through. We'll just not throw in any picks that we'll be using.
right.
So
Obviously, we're doing this 2 rounds, but so at this trade, I think are they really going to do this?
yeah, they make me go in and accept it.
I think I see a situation where I think the Colts go ahead and I think they take the best quarterback on the board, in my opinion. I think they go with CJ Stroud.
Yep, definitely the safer pick over a guy like Richardson or a guy like Levis.
Uh-huh.
Only problem would be a lot of people saying how Stroud really thrives in that great Ohio State scheme with great
Right.
receiving receivers around him. And Indianapolis does not have the strongest receiving core right now. So maybe you won't see the immediate impact with Stroud, but
Uh-huh.
he's definitely a safer pick than Richardson or Levis would be.
And obviously he's in my opinion the second best quarterback and the second safest quarterback.
Yeah, definitely. Um, let's see if it'll let me pick him. Oh wait, I have it on pause. Okay. All right, so now we have the Cardinals back at number 4, and This one's kind of tough because Jalen Carter has really been like we really don't know what we're getting with him at this point. I mean, he is an unbelievable talent,
Right.
but they had those concerns at the pro day where he couldn't even finish his drills.
Yeah.
And I also think that DB is a more pressing need for the Cardinals right now than pass rushes. So
Really, so
Christian Gonzalez would be the next guy I would pick, but I'm probably just going to go with the safer pick and pick Jalen Carter.
okay.
The only reason I would say not to is because the Cardinals have really been a bad organization in terms of
Developing
trying
that
to think.
talent and developing like players as people.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, they have a bad. There's a word that's not. It's escaping my mind right now. They just. Oh, I mean, they just have a bad environment right now,
Yeah.
and I feel like their players just don't have the right mentality right now. I mean, obviously, we can't know that as we're just guys looking on the outside in, but
Right.
that would be my only problem with that pick. That Carter is a like personal concern,
Right.
while other players like Christian Gonzalez would be safer in terms of that side of football.
For sure. At 5, I think I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I'm going to go Tyree Wilson here. I think Seattle has a. They don't really have a glaring need on the edge, but obviously it's not their strongest position, and I think that would really help them as a team. I think Tyree Wilson is, of course, one of the best talents. I mean, you're definitely not walking around and seeing a bunch of Tyree Wilsons around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And some people have been saying, and he's been rumored to the Texans at number 2 now, which is,
Right.
and some people have been saying he almost feels like this year's Trayvon Walker, but he's
Uh-huh.
just such a different player because he's almost like a tweener between a 3-4 edge and a 4-3 edge, but he's
Right.
so athletic that you could really put him anywhere.
I feel like you could even drop him back to an outside linebacker position if you need
Yeah,
to.
definitely. I mean, he could really play like anywhere. I mean, he's just so athletic and he's so versatile and he's a hard player to pass on, but he's not polished. He's gonna need time and he's definitely more of a boomer bust guy.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So at number 6, we have the Lions, and I have really been a big Lions should draft a quarterback guy because
Quarter.
yes, quarterback.
Okay.
Because I think that I really and it's because of how much I like this Lions team
Uh-huh.
and because I really want them to succeed and I know that they're not going to win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. I just don't think it's going to happen. He's not improving at this point. Like he's not going to get any better. He's like getting towards 30 years old.
Uh-huh.
And I just think that if they bring in someone, especially someone that could sit for a year and learn behind Goff, then they could really succeed in the future. And they're not going to be picking at 6 anytime soon. So
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and take Anthony Richardson.
Okay, I did not expect that. I think I like that pick. I like them for the Lions. I'm not 100% sure if that's how it's going to go, but if I were the GM, I would definitely consider that.
Yeah, this one's definitely more on the what I would do side of things. Richardson has the potential to be the QB1. I have him graded as my QB2. And if you look at all of the past quarterbacks and past drafts who have succeeded, a lot of them have been these boomer bust guys who are considered projects like Mahomes and like
Uh-huh.
Lamar. And the common thing between the ones that worked out is that they went into a good situation.
Right, and a lot of them took a year, did not go in, especially Patrick
Yeah,
Mahomes sat behind
exactly.
Alex Smith for a year.
Hmm.
Um, right here at 7. Now this is a situation where I'm gonna go more on the realism side. I'm gonna have to go with Will Levis here. I think he really fit. I think he really goes into that scheme of that McDaniel's has. And if I was the GM, I'm really not the biggest fan of Will Levis, but I could see it happening. I mean, I see the potential there. I'm just not. I see a lot of Zach Wilson in him. I'll leave that out there.
Yeah. I agree with you, except I mean the Zach Wilson comp is a little out there considering Levis was playing in the SEC and Wilson was playing at BYU, so
Right.
it's a little harder to compare. And Wilson was a lot of the like quarantine effect of like
Yeah.
this guy's very good, but Levis definitely has his concerns, but he also has a lot to work with and a
Uh-huh.
lot of things that you could definitely see him becoming a great NFL player. And I would not be surprised if he became a great NFL player.
Right, throwing him behind Jimmy G for a year is definitely not the
Yeah,
worst thing that could happen to him.
definitely. Yeah, that would be a great situation too.
Uh-huh.
For the Falcons at 8, DB has not come off the board yet, which is
Right.
interesting. So I think I'm torn between Gonzalez and Miles Murphy right now, but I think I'm gonna lean towards Gonzalez. Gonzalez is a top 5 player in this draft to me.
Uh-huh.
His pursuit speed is just such an underrated part of his game, and
Yeah.
his ability to make tackles is unbelievable.
Mhm.
He's got great closing speed, which is something that the top corners in this draft kind of lack, like Witherspoon and like Porter.
Right.
And Gonzalez definitely has the size over Witherspoon.
Right here, I'm gonna buy into the hype. At 9, I'm gonna go with Paris Johnson. To Chicago. I think that's a pretty realistic situation for him to go into. He's obviously, I obviously watching him in the Big Ten, he's like incredible. He really keeps the defender off the quarterback pretty well.
Yeah.
But there are some like just little teeny things that he can improve in his game. But I personally think he's the second best tackle in the draft. I have Peter Skoronski graded above him, but I think in this Bears situation, I'm going to stick with Paris Johnson.
I also have Paris Johnson as my tackle too, but I have a different tackle as my tackle 1 who we'll get into in a bit.
You're Broderick
It's
Jones at 1?
interesting. Not Broderick Jones, different
Darnell
SEC
Wright?
tackle.
Darnell
Yep, Darnell
Wright?
Wright.
Wow.
Darnell Wright is my tackle 1.
I think he's really good. I think I have him as my tackle 4, but
Yeah, Wright. I mean, yeah, Wright's been getting a lot of hype, but yeah, Johnson's going to be a great player immediately. So yeah, I mean, Bears in need of a tackle.
Obviously, you've seen a lot of Johnson, so you know what to expect from him.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that the Bears are definitely going to be targeting a tackle. I also think that the Bears could be a good trade down spot.
Yeah, I was thinking there, but I really didn't think of any other situation that would have that to happen.
Yeah. Okay. So for the Eagles at number 10, it's pretty much some could call this a luxury. Some could say they should make sort of a luxury pick here and maybe take like a Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson is so hard to mock. So I don't know
Yeah.
where he's gonna end up in this. Okay. So I have 24 seconds. I'm gonna take Devin.
You could pause it.
Yeah.
Oh, you take Devin Witherspoon.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Devin Witherspoon. I think that corner, I mean, going into this offseason, corner was like the number 1 like need for the Eagles. And they got back Slay and they got back Bradbury, so everyone's kind of like, oh, they're fine at corner now. But both of those guys are still getting up there in age, and just because they signed extensions doesn't mean they're going to be there for the entire extension. It doesn't mean they're going to be playing at as high as a level for that entire contract. So
yeah, definitely.
Corner, they definitely need some youth at corner. And they definitely need some more talent at corner, especially for the future. And the Eagles are a team that likes to draft ahead.
Yeah.
So I think that pick would make a lot of sense.
Right here, I have this as a trade down spot. I'm not 100% sure if you'd agree with this. I think New England actually makes this trade up, which is not super common for Bill Belichick, but I think they see somebody on the board, and I'm just going to put it out there. I think Peter Skoronski is that guy for New England. I think New England, they have Onwenu, they have Mason Wynn, but really I think this is a situation where they could go with they're really trading up 3 spots, so it'd probably take a 4th and a 3rd from next year or whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna just, it doesn't really matter, but so here. All right, I have to send it through. Yeah, the Patriots trading up for a tackle is definitely something that I've seen a lot, and I agree with. The Patriots are in need of that franchise tackle. Onwenu is a guy who you can move around the offensive line. He can really play anywhere.
Right.
So, Skoronski, I'm not the highest on as a tackle. I think he's more of a guard because of his arm length. He's not the lengthiest guy in the world, so he could get beat around a lot.
Yeah, but I think, in my opinion, he fits that Bill Belichick type.
Yeah, definitely. I think he can, if he does end up making the move to guard, I think he will be a Pro Bowl guard almost immediately.
Yeah, he's
I think he's got that type of talent.
uh-huh.
All right, Texans at 12 is another one. The Texans always seem to make some sort of crazy pick in the draft. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know, but yeah. Let me think about what I want to do here. So they got Will Anderson at 2. So
Uh-huh.
so they wouldn't go with another edge in Miles Murphy, who is probably he is my number 3 player that is left right now, behind Bijan and behind Najigba, who is going to be the guy that I end up taking here.
Yeah,
Actually,
I like that pick. I think Smith and Jake was wide receivers obviously a glaring need for
yeah,
Houston, and they didn't get a quarterback to pair him with. I have seen those rumors with Trey Lance, so that's still a
yeah,
possibility.
definitely,
And
yeah,
I'm
that's
not,
interesting.
but I like that. I think I like that pick for him. I think Smith and Jigba is definitely like the safest the safest receiver in the draft. He might
Yeah,
not be he might not be a top 5 receiver in the league, but he'll consistently be top 20.
yeah. It's not even about not being a top 5 receiver in the league. I think it's just about not being the flashiest receiver in the league because he's a slot receiver, because he's not that X receiver, DK Metcalf,
Yeah.
speedster, big guy like anyone like that. He's just gonna get open. He's gonna find ways to get open. Almost like a comp that I've seen a lot is Travis Kelsey, who's obviously a tight end,
Uh-huh.
but it's just the way he always finds the open space, and he's so good at that. And then he's so good after the catch.
Uh-huh. So here at 13, I'm gonna go with a more unconventional pick. I really do see a lot of mock tackles to the Jets, but I think the best player on the board is by far Miles Murphy here, and I'm gonna look into get sending Miles Murphy to New York.
Yeah, I mean, if Murphy was there for the Jets pick, I would not blame them at all for pouncing on that, because Murphy is an unbelievable player and he hasn't had the greatest sack production in terms of numbers,
Uh-huh.
but he's Clemson also faces a lot of dump it off to the running back a lot, so that could be an explanation for that some have thrown out there. But I still think that Murphy is an unbelievable talent, and his pro day really showed that too.
Yeah, I tend to agree. That's why I like that pick that mock to the Jets.
Yeah. Okay. So for the Titans, I feel Jesus, Derek Hall is really high on this list.
Yeah.
The Titans is interesting. I feel like they could go with a lot of different things here. Um, I'm gonna end up just taking the highest guy on the board, which is Broderick Jones.
Uh-huh.
This is assuming they keep Derrick Henry, which I think they will end up doing. I don't think he will get traded. I think that'd be pretty crazy.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, Broderick Jones is going to be a great run blocker, and the Titans' offensive line has really fallen off in the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I like that pick. With here in Green Bay, so I really like this situation where you look for more of a receiver, but you also get someone who could block. I'm gonna actually go with Michael Mayer here.
yeah,
Um,
love that.
yeah, I think Michael Mayer is maybe reaching up the board a little bit, but I think this is it's a good situation for him to go to. Obviously Notre Dame's close to Green Bay,
Yeah,
which obviously you can't really look into very much, but I think it's a good situation for him to go into.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, Jordan Love's going to need as many targets as he can get for his first season starting, assuming Rodgers gets traded. So yeah, I think Mayer would be a great pick here.
Uh-huh.
All right. The Washington is another team that tends to make some crazy picks.
Uh-huh.
Um, trying to, I think they would go with the defensive back here, and I'm actually going to go with Brian Branch.
Oh, okay.
Brian Branch is easily a top 10 player in the draft for me.
Re-
When you have these Nick Saban guys who there's this thing that people always say when you ask Nick Saban about them and he just lights up.
Uh-huh.
It's like that type of thing. Like Brian Branch is one of those players. He can play in so many different spots, and although the NFL might not value mainly
Safety.
slot
No.
corner guy,
Yeah.
it's he's an unbelievable talent. He's going to be very very good right away.
Uh-huh. Um, yeah, moving into a situation where with Pittsburgh, you could really justify them going anywhere.
Yeah,
Um, I'm gonna keep that connection. I'm gonna take Joey Porter here.
yeah,
I've seen that a lot. I think that's super realistic. I think I could see him going to Pittsburgh. Having Joey Porter, senior, was there.
yeah,
I could
definitely.
see that. I see that
Yeah,
situation.
Pittsburgh likes to do that a lot, where they find these guys that are like connected to their franchise, like Pickett
Uh,
last year
how about
and
the Pouncies?
Pouncey. Yeah, that was the next guy I was gonna bring up.
Yeah,
But yeah, um, so yeah, I could definitely see that. That's something that's been getting mocked a lot,
yeah.
and Steelers are in dire need of a corner. So only other thing I could see them taking here would be tackle, and I think Darnell Wright's still on the board. So
Right.
it would definitely be between those two for me if I was
Uh-huh.
picking there. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Darnell Wright's been slipping a bit. I'm not going to take him here because the Lions have a great offensive line already. But
Uh-huh.
um, Lions at 18. Something very crazy would be like a Dalton Kincaid. But
I could see it.
yeah, trying to think. Wait, who did we take for them
I'm
earlier? Wait,
pretty sure you
who's
gave
back?
them Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, we did. Richardson. So okay. So for the Lions here, I'm gonna go with a defensive back.
Uh-huh.
And if I could find, I'm just gonna search it. I'm just gonna go with Deontay Banks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Deontay Banks is good. I have him ranked as my fifth cornerback. I
Interesting.
think
May I
I
ask who
think
your fourth is?
Cam Smith.
I love Cam Smith too. I think Cam Smith great.
I think Cam Smith is better. I just see the value more in Cam Smith than Deontay Banks, but
Yeah,
I don't disagree with that pick. Uh, here with Tampa, I honestly I could see this as a Hendon Hooker pick. I'm not gonna do it. I could see a situation where that happens. I'm gonna just go with uh, the tackle out of Tennessee. Uh, I'm obviously just gonna go Darnell Wright. I don't know. He's rated so low on this board.
yeah. I don't know why that is, but no, Darnell Wright's an unbelievable player, and if you watch his tape versus Georgia, that is like
Impressive.
the reason. It's so impressive. Like
Uh,
usually, or not versus Georgia. I'm sorry, versus Alabama. I missed them. Versus Alabama, when you're going against one of those top guys, against like a guy like Will Anderson, and
uh-huh.
you are able to beat him, Will Anderson, who's probably going to be at least a top 5 pick, who's been considered one of the best edge rushers we've seen in recent history for the past
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
And
Something
when
like
you
that.
win that battle, that is really, really impressive. And Darnell Wright won it, like no questions asked.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I think I agree with that pick. Well, obviously I agree with that pick. I did
Yeah,
it myself, but I think Tampa Bay is a good situation for him to go to.
definitely. Yeah, they're in need of a
Yeah.
tackle with
And they're
Wirfs
obviously
on
not
one side. Yeah,
they're not going to be great this year, but you know.
yeah. Trying to get that offensive line shored up before you eventually, hopefully, get your franchise quarterback in there. That's definitely something that you need.
Right.
Seahawks at 20. We picked Tyree Wilson earlier for them.
Right.
So I am just going to move to the defensive backs, and I'm going to go with Cam Smith.
Yeah, I like that pick. I'm a huge, massive Cam Smith fan.
Yeah.
Really like Cam Smith in this league.
Yeah, Cam Smith's going to be, he would be great alongside um, Tariq Woolen on the other side. So,
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, enough said. Wait, okay. So with
So
the forfeited pick, it's a bit confusing here. So
I'll just
now technically, yeah, you're evens now and I'm odds. So
sounds good.
yeah,
I am going to not sure how if you consider unconventional, but I am gonna go with I'm gonna go with the guy that most people would not see them taking him in this situation, but I feel like Chargers is a situation where you can go Quentin Johnson. That's what I'm going to do.
Ooh,
Uh,
interesting.
I was gonna give him Zay Flowers, but I just don't think that that's a situation that Zay Flowers would thrive in.
Interesting. I actually would say that. No, I think Quentin Johnson would be a good pick. I don't. I personally don't have Johnson as that high rated of a player, but he's not my highest rated receiver. But I could definitely see that. I think that the Chargers are in need of a receiver, and I think that they would probably be more in need of a speedster guy.
Uh-huh.
But Johnson's just so
Oh,
good after the catch
Johnson
that
definitely has that speed, and
yeah,
you
he's
know
got some speed.
he's a big guy that and really is not a great ball winner. But if you could
Yeah,
get Mike Williams and get these guys mentor and
definitely. Yeah,
teach them how to
that's a great point.
you can get
Yeah,
these guys
because
that are ball winners, and he could be an amazing receiver in this league.
yeah, Quentin Johnson really struggled with just tracking the ball in the air this season.
Uh-huh.
So getting him behind a guy like Mike Williams, who's arguably the best at that in the league, and
Uh-huh.
they have similar body types, and yeah, get having him mentor him would actually be that would be pretty great,
Yeah.
and that would definitely be a great situation for Johnson to go into.
Yeah.
So for the Ravens now,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna pounce on not Zay Flowers. Actually, I'm gonna go to Jordan Addison.
Okay.
Addison's been getting a lot more hype than Flowers has in the past few weeks, and
Uh-huh.
yeah, Addison. I mean, he won the Bolitnikoff 2 years ago, so
Yeah.
I mean, great player. So I mean, great speed. I mean, when you're the wide receiver one for the Heisman Trophy winner, you got to be doing something right. So
Right.
Jordan Addison is a pretty good player.
Uh so right here with the Vikings,
Yeah,
I think this is a situation where you just go best player available because his team, I don't think this is a quarterback situation. They're a good team. They're good everywhere. This is definitely not a glaring need, but I'm gonna take who, in my opinion, is the best player available right now. I'm gonna go with Lucas Van Ness. Uh, it's
interesting.
not
Yeah.
it's not a glaring need for Minnesota, but I think they're just falling down the board, and I think that it's a good fit.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, Van Ness could be good as a 3-4 outside linebacker,
Mhm.
and in Flores' defense, I think that could work pretty well. Yeah, not Daniel Hunter. Zadarius Smith has been looks like disgruntled with the Vikings organization, and Daniel Hunter looks like hasn't been too happy either. So Edge could definitely be a pick
Definitely could
that
be a
the
play.
Vikings go with. Yeah.
Yeah.
Van Ness has definitely been going higher in a lot of like I think NFL teams will be higher on him. I'm personally not as high as him, and
Uh-huh.
I think the same thing about Nolan Smith. But no, Van Ness is a great athlete, just not much experience yet. So if
Right.
he's going to be great, it's probably going to take some time.
Uh-huh. But he definitely has the physical qualities.
Yeah, definitely. For the Jaguars, I might actually go with something that I have not seen a lot.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think if I should really do that. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with Bijan Robinson.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean the Jaguars have ETN, who's a great speedster guy, but I don't think ETN is an every down back, and they traded away James Robinson. So
Uh-huh.
you get another Robinson, and your Bijan Robinson is a top 3 player in the draft for me.
Yeah.
It's just that running back um,
Definitely not the
value
most
thing.
valuable position.
That's yeah, but Bijan will definitely in this draft go to a team that people are going to say like, I did not expect that team to pick a running back.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's really unpredictable, and I think he's actually going to end up going in the top 15 somewhere, but it's just impossible to predict where.
Yeah. Um, I think now with this Giants pick, it's a pretty. If I think the fact that Zay Flowers is there, I think they have to pounce on him. So
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with Zay Flowers to the Giants.
Mhm. Yeah, Flowers is a guy that I've been on for a while now.
You see a lot of Antonio Brown in him.
Yeah, that's one that I've seen before actually. Yeah, Flowers is an unbelievable player. His ability to just play bigger than he is
Uh-huh.
incredible, and to go up. I mean, that catch in double coverage against, I think it was Louisville or something. I don't know. I mean, that when I saw that clip, that was like pretty incredible. Like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but if you don't,
Um,
look it up.
I will.
It's like, no, Flowers is unbelievable at tracking the ball, and he's got great speed, and he could definitely be a great deep threat in the league.
Uh-huh.
All right,
With,
so
with Dallas.
yeah, at 27 with Dallas. Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, I like that pick.
Kincaid has been getting Kincaid has been going up boards recently.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, he's now my tight end too. Actually, originally it was Darnell Washington. I ended up flip flopping them,
Okay.
but no, yeah, Kincaid's a great player.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Kincaid. Um, with Buffalo here, I think this is a big D tackle uh, situation, but I'm gonna go with Kalijah Cansey over Brian Bresee. Uh, I think I just like that fit in Buffalo a little bit more with Kalijah Cansey. Just no, it's just
No, yeah,
very
I could definitely see what you're saying because I mean the Bills pass rush after Von Miller went down
uh
last year was pretty bad.
yes,
And as a Bengals fan, I saw that very much juxtaposed in the playoffs because when we played against the Bills, it was like, oh my God, our offensive line played so well and they're actually
yeah,
good. And then the next week it was like, oh no, they're not again. But it was a lot more just that the Bills really have no pass rush. And Kancey is a pure pass rush guy.
oh
He definitely needs to be able to develop some run defending abilities because he's struggled with that a lot. But Kancey, but yeah, if the Bills are looking for just a pure pass rusher, I could see Kancey being their guy.
yeah, I agree.
All right, for the Bengals here, I've seen a lot of Nolan Smith mocks for the Bengals.
Hmm.
Um, Will McDonald is a guy that I'm very, very high on. He is going to end up being a top 20 player in this draft for me. So I could see that as well. But I think a guy like Nolan Smith just makes more sense for the Bengals.
Yeah, that's where I was gonna look with for New Orleans.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Nolan Smith. He plays bigger than his size,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know if that's gonna be sustainable at the NFL level. But he's been a great run defender in college, and I'm sure he could replicate that in the NFL. And then obviously his bend being his size and having his speed is pretty incredible.
Yeah, definitely getting around
Yeah.
blocks pretty well. Um, I think the Brian Receive fall ends here. I think I could see the
Hmm.
Saints going with him. I would say it's a pretty glaring need on the inside. Uh,
Yeah. In
you
my
have
opinion, I think the Saints will just take the best defensive player available, and I think that
yeah,
definitely fits that bill.
and I mean they have on the inside they have Kalen Saunders and Nathan Shepard, and I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest, I have not heard of either of them.
No, yeah, they lost their entire defensive line in free agency, which is
Yeah,
pretty crazy. So, I mean, they really have no money, so
yeah,
can't really blame them. But yeah, at 31 for the Eagles, we picked Devin Witherspoon earlier for them.
uh-huh.
This one I'm gonna go more the luxury route. I'm gonna go with Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Yeah, Gibbs has been a guy that I've been on for years now. I actually saw clips of him at Georgia Tech a couple years ago,
Uh-huh.
and I thought he was like real. Like I'm not like I. And then when I saw that I remember seeing that he transferred to Alabama,
Uh-huh.
and I've been on this guy for a while, and I think he's very, very good. And I think in a lot of other draft classes, he would be my running back one. He's
Yeah.
an unbelievable pass catcher. He's
Uh-huh.
not going to be an every down back, which is kind of concerning. But for a team like the Eagles, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Uh, moving right along to uh, the 31st selection, the final
Yeah,
selection. Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and take Will McDonald to Kansas City.
yeah.
I do agree. I think I don't. I'm not sure I agree with the top 20 hype, but I definitely think he is an absolute amazing player.
Yeah, McDonald's a guy that's been really played out of position at Iowa State a lot. So they had him like more of a hand in the dirt against a guard type of guy, but
Right.
every time they put him on the edge, you could see those flashes of how good he can be. And I think that he's going to thrive at NFL level. And I think that pick makes a lot of sense for the Chiefs. It seems that they always get these guys that just
Yeah.
kind of fall to them.
Karlaftis last year.
Yeah, Karloftis and then McDuffie, both
Uh-huh.
last year. Yeah, CEH was kind of an outlier, but
Yeah.
we'll ignore that one for now. All right, now into the second round. Steelers picking at 33. Tackle is definitely. I feel like their two technically first round pick. Their two top 32 picks are going to be tackle and corner,
Uh-huh.
and we took Porter with the other one. So I'm going to go tackle here. Anton Harrison is a guy that I think is
Yeah.
very NFL ready.
He's a great.
Over a guy like DeJuan Jones, who's more of like a boomer bust type guy. So
I've
yeah,
seen a
he's more
lot
of a
of
short
flashes in DeJuan Jones, and if I was making this pick for the Steelers, I think I would go with DeJuan Jones only because of the fact that the Steelers are not even close to being there yet. I feel like they're
interesting.
I feel like they're still on the decline at the moment.
Really?
I think they're in that middle situation where I think it's still a good 2 years until they're contenders at least.
Improve at some points, but
Right.
with the acquisite with improving their offensive line is definitely a big thing, especially in the development of Kenny Pickett, because you're not going to
Yeah.
ever become a better team if you don't develop that quarterback that you drafted in the first round. And I think Kenny Pickett can definitely take a big step in year two,
Uh-huh.
but they just have to get him some help.
Yeah. Uh, now looking at 30 the Houston pick here.
Hmm.
I think they're going to go with the best offensive lineman, and I think that is an inside offensive lineman. I think I'm leaning John Michael Schmitz, but I think I could see Osiris Torrance going here. But I think I'm gonna go John Michael Schmitz. I think he's a great player, and I've seen him in Minnesota. I've seen him, when they had. I'm totally blanking on that Minnesota running back's name, but he was amazing. And
Oh, Mo Ibrahim, yeah, he's
right,
great.
right, Mo Ibrahim and John Michael Schmitz was a big reason because of that.
Yeah, Schmitz is a great player. My only concern with him, it's not really a concern. It's just that he really doesn't have any versatility. While
Uh-huh.
guys like Torrance and especially a guy like Joe Tippmann, who I think is also a great player and could end up sneaking into the first round, has that guard versatility. And I just think that in the NFL, centers are less valued than guys that can play guard and guys that are more versatile and athletic.
Yeah, yeah, I guess, but you see that I I think Houston just needs to take the best player available, and I think Schmitz fits that bill in some people's eyes.
Yeah. So with the Cardinals here, I'm thinking tackle.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking DeJuan Jones might be the guy I go with here. Or I'm thinking pass rush. And honestly, the pass rush talent that is still on the board is just much higher than the the tackle talent that's on the board right now. And when I was watching the Cardinals uniform release and I saw Cam Thomas go up there as one of their
Uh-huh.
premier guys, I was like, Jesus Christ! Like they
Yeah.
really need someone in there. Um, I'm between Isaiah Foskey and BJ Ojolari right now.
Yeah.
Ojolari is definitely a higher ceiling guy. I have liked Ojolari a lot throughout. I had him very highly graded
Uh-huh.
early in the college football season. Foskey is more of a sure thing. I feel like he's definitely going to be good. I don't know if he can has that higher ceiling. So I'm actually going to go with BJ Ojolari
Okay. Uh,
as
I
yeah,
like that pick. I think he has a really high ceiling, like Pro Bowl ceiling.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Ojolari can definitely be great.
who have we taken for Indianapolis so far?
Indianapolis traded
Just
up for CJ Stroud.
and was that was your only pick in the first round?
It was.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and look at a receiver here. More of a
Yeah.
boundary guy, more of a
hmm
guy on the outside. So I'm honestly not. I think Josh Downs has to be that guy. I'm gonna go with Josh Downs.
Okay. Yeah. Downs is definitely more of a slot player that can
Right.
with great footwork and that can get open. And yeah, sort of the same way that
hmm
JSN is obviously not as high of a level, and obviously
I was just
with
thinking.
a smaller frame.
Yeah, I was thinking that they need more of a boundary guy, but you have Josh Downs on the board, and I see Jalen Hyatt's speed, but I think that's really all he has going for him, and I just think that Josh Downs, the gap between them two, I think is too large to go ahead and take Hyatt.
Okay, that's I can see where you're coming from there. Um, for the Rams, I feel like they could pick a lot of things. I feel like everybody would kind of be telling me to pick Hendon Hooker here. I'm not a big Hendon Hooker fan.
Yeah,
I think he's
especially
a good athlete, but I mean, when your best ability is, or supposed to be your best ability in at the NFL level is going to be running, and you're coming off a torn ACL, and
uh-huh,
you're 25 years old, and you don't have amazing pocket presence, and your ability to maneuver the pocket has not shown very much at the college level. I'm just not very high on Hooker.
uh-huh.
So at this pick, I'm gonna go ahead and take Osiris Torrance.
I like that pick with the versatility in the middle.
Yeah,
The Rams need a lot of things, so you can really move them around on that inside.
yeah, and that offensive line was horrid last year.
Oh yeah, they
So
were terrible. Um,
yeah,
Would you mind checking who Seattle? I think they had multiple first round picks. Who'd they take with that second one?
they did. They took
Cam Smith.
Wilson and Cam Smith. Yeah,
All right, so I think this is a really, really, really easy pick. I think Dewan Jones is the pick here.
yeah, yeah. I could. I see that. I see where you're coming from. Yeah, tackle definitely an option for the Seahawks to upgrade.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's I'm blanking on his name. They drafted someone last year. They drafted Charles Cross
Right.
very early, and then they had another guy last year that they drafted later who ended up being very solid for them in the first half of the year, and
Uh,
then kind of dropped off in play
I'll tell
after
you.
that. Yeah,
Um, it was it Jalen McKenzie?
no,
No,
hang
no, no.
on, let me. Hang on.
It might have been him. He was a rookie, or Stone Forsythe. I don't know.
No, hang on,
No,
wait. I
he
want
was
to actually
older.
figure this out.
I think it was McKenzie. No,
No, it wasn't. Hang on, let me find. I'm gonna find it. um, I'm looking at the depth chart. Abe Lucas.
he was a rookie last year. I don't think so. No, he is. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. That's on me.
yeah.
I thought he was
No,
second
Abe
round.
Lucas was solid last year, and I think that if with the ability to upgrade, you definitely should, especially for the Seahawks, which is a team that really has a team that has a quarterback that is aging,
Uh huh.
and if they're going to compete soon, it
It
has
has
to
to be
be
really
soon.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see a pick like that. I'm gonna go ahead and pause this for a minute because I'm gonna take a minute and look at my options here. The
Uh-huh.
Raiders picked Will Levis.
Oh wait, is this one my pick? No.
Wait, no, this is my pick.
Who did I just go with again?
You took Dewan Jones.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. The Raiders are a mess on defense,
Uh huh.
and I think that Isaiah Foskey could really shore up their pass rush.
Yeah. I think he's
Chandler Jones was very disappointing last year, and I think that getting
Foskey.
someone on the other side of Max Crosby is an important thing that the Raiders definitely need to get in this draft.
And Foskey will make an impact right away.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, I think for Carolina, I think this is Darnell Washington situation. So I'm gonna go
Oh,
with Darnell Washington here.
All right.
Getting that guy 6'7", absolute monster.
Yeah.
And you get that guy for Bryce Young that he could really rely on a little bit. And he could really become an amazing receiving tight end.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. Yeah, Hurst is more of a receiving guy over a blocking guy. So getting that receiving guy in there, or I'm sorry, that blocking guy in there, and Darnell Washington, who's just such a big body,
Uh-huh.
would be pretty great for Panthers and their rookie quarterback, who in this case would be Bryce Young.
Right.
All right. How long have we been at this so far?
45, 30, but it's okay.
All right.
No rush.
I'll try to go a little faster if you want.
There's no, there's
We don't have to go as in depth as we have been for most of
right.
them. But the Saints you took Brazil in the first, right?
Believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So I think double dipping on the defensive line could definitely be something that they do. And I've seen Keon White be mocked to them a lot. I'm
Uh-huh.
not a big Keon White guy because I think he's just a product of this guy is big and they think he's good. But um, Adatombi Adebowale, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is the complete opposite. He's a product of this guy's fast, so he's good.
Yeah.
But no, he's a very good player, and I think that on that Saints defensive line, he could provide the speed that Brazil doesn't and the pass
Yeah.
rush that Brazil really doesn't.
Right. Here with Tennessee, I think this is a situation where you look into a guy like Keely Ringo, a guy
Yeah, definitely.
that was really hyped up at the beginning of the year, kind of fell off a little bit. But I really still see that potential in him.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes to the right team and he can get developed correctly with a good coaching staff, I mean, his potential is so high. He just has ridiculous closing speed. He's an unbelievable athlete, and there's a reason that he was once considered a almost like lock top 10 pick
Right.
at one point because he has unbelievable traits, and I would not be surprised if he ends up being a really good player.
Uh-huh.
Interesting situation. Do we want to trade one of the Jets picks to the Packers, or do we want to just keep it?
I think I could see that. Yeah, there's no problem with that.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume that it would be the first one of the Jets picks that
Uh-huh.
gets traded. So I'm gonna do this one. All right. So I'll just trade this one, and I'll just give him like a seventh because it'll obviously be Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So that goes through. All right, so the Packers are now picking here. Packers took Michael Mayer in the first round.
Uh-huh.
So here I think you definitely look. I think you could look to a tackle. I mean, moving on from Rodgers, and now maybe the next step would also be moving on from David Bakhtiari.
Uh-huh.
So I'm actually going towards the interior line and a guy that could play guard or tackle. I think he would be better as a tackle, but a lot of guys have him projected as a guard, and Cody Mock.
He's a monster.
Yeah, he is an unbelievable athlete and a huge guy. So yeah, he has great potential.
So now you have the Jets here.
Yeah.
I think you also go back and look into a cornerback again. Wait, did we give him a cornerback yet? I'm blanking.
We did not. We gave them Miles Murphy.
And that was your only pick?
It was.
Okay. So can you go to the cornerbacks for a minute? So
Cool. Yeah.
I'm actually thinking DJ Turner here.
I love that pick.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go DJ Turner to the Jets.
Yeah. I think DJ Turner is an unbelievable player. His ability to mirror the receiver on the outside is pretty incredible, and he's just got so much speed. And as an Ohio State fan,
yeah,
seeing saying that about a Michigan player is pretty hard to do for me. But I really think that DJ Turner is going to be a great player.
Yeah, I agree.
If you don't mind, I'm just gonna plug my computer in real quick because it's sort of getting lower in battery.
No worries.
All right. All right, for the Falcons here. In the first round, Falcons went with Christian Gonzalez.
Yep.
So I'm actually gonna go with. I think pass rush could definitely be in play here, and
Mhm.
a lot of the edge rushers have been taken off the board. But I mean, I'm sorry, a lot of edge rushers are still on the board, but I think they've done a lot to improve their defense this offseason with the acquisitions of Jesse Bates and then drafting Gonzalez in this. So I'm actually and Jeff Okuda too, very recently.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Right.
I'm actually going to go offense, and I'm going to go with what many would consider a more luxury pick, but it is in the second round. I'm going to go with a running back, and I'm going to go with Zach Charbonnet.
He's a stud. I really do think he's. I don't think. I think he's a lot closer to Jameer Gibbs than a lot of other people give him credit to.
Yeah, definitely. Charbonnet is a great player. He might lack that elite breakaway speed that
Uh-huh.
guys like Gibbs and Robinson have, but no, he can be unbelievable, especially at the line of scrimmage and breaking tackles and just getting those few extra yards. I actually do have one running back. I have Israel Abanikanda ahead of him,
Okay.
but yeah, Charbonnet is my running back 4, and I would love for the Bengals to draft him in the second round. That's one of my guys that I really want him or Abanikanda in the second
Uh-huh.
round.
So here with Green Bay, it really obviously I don't think there'll be contenders for a little bit,
Yeah,
and I could see them a situation where they get more of a coverage linebacker, and
yeah,
I'm gonna go with a guy, the first one off the board. I'm gonna go with Dan Henley.
yeah. I love that pick.
I don't know if you're thinking I was gonna go Jack Campbell there, but
No, actually, I actually am not a big fan of Jack Campbell. I was thinking that you might go Trent Simpson.
yeah,
No, Henley's a great player. You go.
I like Dan Henley.
Yeah, Henley is. I mean, converting from wide receiver
Right.
to linebacker is pretty insane.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, Henley's ability to just—it's like he has that like sixth sense of knowing what the receiver is going to do, almost like because he converted from receiver, and he
Uh-huh.
just knows where to be, and he's just an unbelievable athlete. So a guy like that is hard to pass on. Um, but yeah, Trent Simpson was a guy that was mocked in the first round a lot, but has kind of fallen down boards a lot recently.
Yeah.
The Patriots did trade up for Peter Skoronsky earlier,
Uh-huh.
so I'm probably going to go with an edge rusher here. Looking, I actually don't see anyone that appealing.
I also think this is a linebacker situation where you can go more of an
Yeah,
edge rushing linebacker, but
yeah. Yeah. That said, I'm gonna take Drew Sanders.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm not as high on Sanders as some are, but I think he has pass rush versatility, which is pretty great for a linebacker. So yeah, I mean he was leading the SEC in sacks at one point this season.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think I think he can be a great player, but he's definitely got a lot. He's definitely not polished.
Yeah. Uh Here with the Commanders, I am gonna look at going with a guy like I think I'm gonna go Luke Musgrave. I think I like that situation, sending him over to Washington. I know they have Logan Thomas, but you look at that second guy, it just doesn't exist, and I think Luke Musgrave could be that guy.
Yeah, I could definitely see Washington being a tight end spot in this draft. So, yeah, Musgrave's a good player, and I think he will be a day 2 pick. And I could definitely see this as a situation for him landing in.
Uh-huh.
For the Lions at 49, I'm gonna go ahead and check who they've picked already. Actually, they picked Richardson, they picked Deontay Banks, and then they picked. Did they have another one? Um,
I don't think so.
no, they did not. They do have another one in a few picks, but not yet. Okay. I'm definitely gonna look to go pass rush here for the Lions,
Uh-huh.
and I think they could definitely go with either edge or interior of the defensive line. And I completely forgot about this guy, but Keanu Benton is my defensive tackle too in this class.
Uh-huh.
He's just an unbelievable run stuffer, and you can see at Wisconsin, he's just such a big body and he's so strong, and I think he's going to be very, very good right away in
Yeah.
the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good. I also think that's a good fit for him.
Yeah.
Setting him up with that environment. So I'm gonna go with the very unconventional pick. After taking Joey Porter, you're obviously very familiar with this guy. Um, I'm not sure you're gonna agree with it. I think you might think it's a bit of a reach, but I'm gonna go with Ronnie Hickman to Pittsburgh.
Ooh.
Um,
Where is the safeties
he'll be
here?
under safety. Uh,
Hickman. Okay.
he'll be very
Um,
wow. They have him really far down the board.
yeah.
But he's a really well put together guy.
Yeah. Um, I think he has his flashes, and he was a top guy that a lot of Ohio State fans have been talking about the past couple of years. And if they could develop and going into a team like the Steelers with as prestigious of a coaching staff as they have, if they could fix up and shore up some of those mental mistakes that he makes, then I think they could definitely develop him. Yeah, I mean, a lot of surprising things happen in the draft. So
Right.
there's really no wrong answer in a mock draft, is what I was. But yeah, Hickman. Yeah, I could
Incredibly
see him sneaking into day two.
incredibly long guy.
Yeah, definitely. All right, with the Bucks here. This one I'm gonna slide to the more realism side, and I'm gonna stop Hendon Hooker's, as most would call it, a fall. Yeah, I think they got to get a guy in there. Even if I know he's 25, but even if he has to sit for a year or at least like half a year, like I think that the Bucks just need to get a quarterback in there that they have some hope in, and I don't think Baker Mayfield is that guy
Yeah.
at all. So yeah,
Or Kyle Trask if
yeah, definitely a contract.
he happens to take over. With the
Yeah,
Dolphins here, I'm gonna go with Maisie Smith. He's still on the board,
yeah,
right?
yeah, he is. That's a
Yeah,
good pick.
I think Maisie Smith is a sure day two pick.
Yeah, I like Smith a lot, and he can go anywhere on day two, in my opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if he went with the first pick in the second round or the last pick in the third round. So
Uh-huh.
I could almost even see him sneaking into day one. I just think that it's that value thing that NFL teams won't really want to take a guy like that in the first round. But no, Smith is a great player and he's a great athlete, and I think that he's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks. I'm sorry to do this again, but I always blank on who I took in the past. They took Tyree Wilson, they took Cam Smith, and they took DeJuan Jones. Okay. Okay. So, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with Emmanuel Forbes, and I'm gonna double dip at corner because. Oh, actually, wait. Trent Simpson still being there is interesting too.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm just gonna go with the better player in Emmanuel Forbes because Forbes is a guy that I've seen go in the first round a lot, and I definitely think that that is warranted. He's a really good player. I think really the only question about him is his size, and I think when that's the biggest question about a guy, then it's really proven that the guy's got talent. It's just
Uh-huh.
can he survive at the NFL level?
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a problem with that pick. I'm not sure that's what I would have gone with, but I could see it happening.
Yeah.
Um, with this Bears pick, we gave them Paris Johnson, correct?
Yes, that is true.
Now, do you
Paris
think
Johnson.
that Paris Johnson has that versatility to play on the inside? Yes, right?
Uh, maybe. I also I think that Braxton Jones definitely could. So if you're gonna go with another tackle, I don't think that would be a bad pick. But
I
I also
wasn't.
think that
I was gonna go with Steve Avila here.
oh yeah. Oh my I completely forgot about him too.
Yeah,
Damn.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with Steve Avila here.
No, Avila's a great player. Maybe he doesn't have the athleticism. Oh, I'm sorry. He does have the athleticism that you would like to see with a lot of these recent guards that have been coming into the NFL. He's got a lot more than like a guy like Osiris Torrance has, which is why I've seen him mocked in the first round a lot recently. But yeah, no, Avila can definitely be good, and I could see him going on day one.
Uh,
The Chargers here, I'm gonna go with Trent Simpson.
that's where I was looking for Detroit.
Yeah, yeah. The Chargers have definitely had their problems at linebacker,
Uh,
and they just need more depth on the defensive side of the ball. And Simpson is definitely a guy that they could develop and a guy that could end up being really good. And we look back on and say, why did we ever let this guy slip to the second round?
yeah. Now with
Detroit again.
yeah, I'm with Detroit again. I was going to look at a guy in Jordan Battle here, but who did we give him last
Okay.
time? Who
Um.
who was their second round pick? Did they already have one?
Yeah, Richardson, Banks, and Benton.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him Jordan Battle.
All right. Yeah, I mean, another Alabama safety. Yeah, Battle has been a guy that, I mean, if you go back to last year, like people were talking about him as like a sure like top 20 pick this year. Like
Right.
he's been talked about for a while. Maybe that's just because he's an Alabama DB, but he has shown that he has the talent to play at the NFL level. And yeah, I think he definitely warrants a day 2 pick, and I think he will.
Definitely.
For the Jaguars, I'm gonna take a guy. Wait, let me make sure I didn't. What did I do for them in the first round? I took Bijan. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna take a guy that I've actually seen mocked to them in the first round. I don't think it would happen because of the size, but I'm gonna take Julius Brents.
Okay. I think I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Um
All right. Yeah. Brents is a good player. He definitely came on a little bit more late in the season. Wasn't amazing in the first half of the year, but he definitely improved, and that's something that NFL teams like to see a lot.
with the Giants, is Felix Dyke Uzoma on the board?
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Felix Duke Ozuma?
Oh, yeah. He is still on the board.
All right, I'm gonna go with. Is there a relation to CJ?
There is. They are. I think they're brothers, or maybe like step brothers or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna send him over to the Giants. I think the Giants. Oh wait. Oh, it's too far to go. Too late to go back anyway. But didn't I? No, I gave him Zay Flowers. So yeah, I can see them
You
taking A.
did. Yeah.
So I can see them going with a edge rusher.
Yeah. Yeah. I could definitely see the Giants going edge rusher. Yeah, definitely a big need. With the Cowboys, I'm gonna go to the offensive line, and I'm gonna take Joe Tippmann,
Okay.
who's a guy that I said earlier I could definitely see him sneaking into the first round, kind of one of those dark horse guys. Yeah, he's got amazing versatility, and he could really play anywhere on the interior of the offensive line. So I think that he really the Cowboys are sometimes picky with their offensive linemen, and I think that he's definitely a Cowboys offensive lineman.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm gonna go Devon Kane here.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Where is he?
I know you like Israel Abanikanda.
Yeah. No, Akaney's A Chain. Is that how you pronounce? I think it's A Chain actually, because I was always calling her McCaney.
H.
But yeah, he ran really well at the combine, And I mean, Texas A&M overall was a disappointment this year, but he still produced at a very high level, and I think he's
Yeah.
going to go. I think he's definitely going to go on day 2,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think he can be very good. For the Bengals, I'm just going to do what I said I was going to do, and I'm going to take Izzy Abanikanda.
Uh huh.
Yeah, Abanikanda, kind of similarly to um, Charbonnet, doesn't have elite breakaway speed, but I think that he's one of the more fun running backs in this class, and I would love to see him on the Bengals. The Bengals definitely need a guy in there after losing P. Ryan, and Mixon's been going through some personal stuff. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. I see that stuff.
yeah,
Um. So now we're here in a situation where there's a lot of guys that you could see being taken here at closer to the end of the second round. Um.
Mhm.
Who have they been given so far?
They took Paris Johnson,
And then the inside, right?
and then yeah, Villa.
Okay. Um. hmm. I'm gonna go Keon White here.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. White's been mocked way higher than this. I'm not the biggest fan of White, but if he gets into a good scheme and he gets into a situation and with a coaching staff that can develop him, I think he can definitely be good. He definitely needs some more sure pass rush moves,
Uh-huh.
but he's a great run defender. He's a big body, and I think he can be good. With the Eagles here, we took Witherspoon and we took Gibbs.
Yeah.
So I think this is another just like best player available. And I think that receiver is definitely a position that the Eagles could take here. I think there were his name is slipping my mind right now. Who is their third receiver? He's a guy that I liked.
Young?
No. Wait.
I got it. I got it.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his name right now, but
It is
whoever it is,
Quez
yes, Quez
Watkins.
Watkins was a guy that I feel like they were expecting more from this year, and didn't really play at as high as the level as they were hoping. And bringing in a third guy, especially a guy like Jalen Hyatt, who has just unbelievable speed and can take the top off the defense,
Yeah.
can kind of draw the defense out for a guy like AJ Brown. I mean, they have just so much talent on the offense, and even drawing guys out for Hurts to run. And then when the focus is all on AJ Brown, and if you find Hyatt in single coverage, he's getting open. He's
Yeah.
he's gonna beat you down the field, and yeah,
Um with the Chiefs here, who have we final one of the draft? Who have we given them?
Chiefs took Will McDonald.
And that was your only pick, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Um I'm gonna go with a tackle. I haven't I'm thinking Matthew Bergeron.
yeah,
I'm
that
gonna go
I could definitely see that.
with the final one, I'm gonna go with Matthew Bergeron.
Yeah, Bergeron is a guy that has kind of been up and down this year. I think I saw him in the first round earlier this year, and I've also seen him just like not even drafted at all in 3 round mocks. So yeah, Bergeron's definitely a guy that has a very high ceiling but a very high floor. I'm sorry, a very low floor.
If you want to go
And
to the whole thing, you can.
yeah, and the Chiefs being a team that invested so much in that one tackle and Jawan Taylor, I could definitely see them looking to the draft to get cheap tackle talent.
So with you being a little bit more into this field than I am, like what out of this, what do you think would be more the biggest surprise and the biggest reach out of how this one went?
Um, Biggest surprise, I would go with in the first round. I don't think Cam Smith is going to go as high as we put him. Not saying that I wouldn't take him, but I don't think he is going to end up a top 20 pick. I could definitely see him slipping out of the first round. Great talent, but I just don't think that he has that high end potential that some of the other guys have. Darnell Wright's another one where I think he's gonna go higher than we actually put him. I think a lot of NFL teams are gonna be very high on Wright, and I think he's gonna go within the top 12, top 15 picks at least. Biggest reach, I would probably go with Quentin Johnston, just because I'm not as high as him
Uh-huh.
as most other people are. Especially with like Jordan Addison and Zay Flowers and Jalen Hyatt on the board, I would probably pick all three of those guys ahead of Johnston. And then one more. I think there's two guys that actually didn't end up going in this mock that I think definitely will go in the second round in the NFL draft, and that's Cedric Tillman, and it is Jonathan Mingo from Ole Miss. I don't
Oh,
see
yeah.
him here.
They have him pretty far down.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, this draft is really lacking these big body, go up and get it receivers, and those are two guys that I think. I think Mingo is going to be taken a little higher, but those are two guys that I definitely think teams could pick higher just because there's not that many of them in this draft. Yeah, that's
Uh,
pretty much it.
so if you manage to watch it through this whole video, props to you. Appreciate you watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and stay tuned to the draft day reaction video that we'll get out to you. Hopefully on Friday, if not Saturday. We'll see. We'll be back with the podcast soon. Have a great night.